bonsoir, chers amis, c'est Deaso et on se retrouve aujourd'hui pour ce 118e épisode de Genshin Impact. J'espère que vous vous portez bien. Aujourd'hui, chers amis, nous avons un planning chargé. Je sais, les épisodes sont déjà en retard, mais bon, on va faire abstraction de ceci. Aujourd'hui, nous allons continuer les quêtes d'Archon. D'ailleurs, c'est toujours ma acte 1. Hein. On doit toujours se rendre au Salon de Thé Comore. Donc, c'est toujours l'acte 1, donc c'est toujours le début. Hein. Bon, on va avancer plutôt l'acte 2 aussi. Sauf si à un moment, ils nous disent que... Ouais, mais non, vous n'êtes pas assez haut niveau. Donc d'abord, nous allons vite fait récupérer les plans. Voilà. Donc les derniers plans 3 étoiles qu'on peut acheter dans la boutique de la Sérénité hier. Puis je me suis dit qu'avant d'acheter tous les plans en 4 étoiles, on va prendre les plans de 7 d'abord. Hein. Donc le pavillon des rêves de brume, le laboratoire de recherche secret, la maison de fumée de bois, et la station de forgeage d'armes. Voilà, ça c'est fait. Nous avons également des succès à récupérer. Merveille du monde. Briser la barrière d'une hypostase électro, c'est vrai. C'est lorsqu'il fait l'attaque où il met des piliers qui forment une barrière autour de toi. On peut briser les piliers. Je ne savais pas. J'étais en train de combattre une hypostase électro lorsque j'ai vu que, après avoir lancé une grosse attaque, que ça avait endommagé les piliers. Donc j'ai essayé, ça en a cassé un. Voilà. Voilà, là où il s'est fait cette cage où il y a plein d'éclairs qui frappent au centre, il faut que tu les évites. J'ai pas essayé de casser pour l'instant pas essayé de casser le truc, mais apparemment ça marche. Ensuite, on a atteint un niveau de confiance 7 avec l'esprit de la sérénité hier. Il faut qu'on récupère ça aussi, mais peut-être à la fin de cet épisode ou de l'épisode prochain. Donc en soit, poursuivons. Donc nous avons une invitation pour le Salon de Thé Comore, où nous devons retrouver Thomas. Et je pense que il va nous dire quelques trucs. Donc j'avais évité d'aller par ici. C'est sympa, hein. Ah tiens. Ah, il y a un Sneznaïen. Bon, l'enregistrement est bon. Allons-y. Ah bah voilà, évidemment, je le savais bien.
Sorry, we don't serve the general public. I'm afraid you'll have to leave.
Wait! We're not the general public!
Well then, you must be a couple of wandering outlanders that snuck into the nation, judging by your attire.
Are our clothes really so... what Paimon means to say is...
Voici notre lettre d'invitation.
The Yashiro Commission's seal. This must be from Mr. Toma. It seems there's more to you than meets the eye. In which case, welcome to the Comore Tea House, a safe haven for the Yashiro Commission.
Well, that sounds more like it.
Paimon, arrêtez de vous la péter, s'il vous plaît. Entrons, ne laissons pas attendre Thomas plus longtemps.
See him anywhere. Do you think he forgot his promise to meet us?
Il y a un chien quand même, hein.
Who forgot their promise? I was beginning to think you'd forgotten about me.
Non, je crois qu'il essaie de nous arnaquer là.
What? Is that dog talking to us?
Relax. No need to look so surprised. I take it this is the first time you've seen me in this form?
Alors vous êtes un chien? Non, je pense qu'il nous arnaque.
So you didn't see anything like this when you were in Liyue Harbor?
Ah, now that you mention it, this does suddenly seem less out of the ordinary.
Ça reste bizarre, hein. Je sais reconnaître un chien quand je vois. Hein. Ah, donc est-ce que c'est une sorte d'esprit comme ça? Non, c'est un tanuki. Ça doit être ça, non?
All right. I've had my
Non, il
fun.
nous a arnaqué. Je me suis assez amusé. Bon, évidemment. Bon, ça aurait pu, mais non, il nous a fait une blague.
Hey, you're this close to getting an ugly nickname, mister.
Attention, hein, pas une bonne essai.
Well, I've had some time to kill, given that I've been waiting here for you for so long, as was the case in Rito. So I came up with this little fun greeting for when you arrived. But in all seriousness, I would like to apologize about that little test you went through earlier, though it was quite necessary. It helped us determine whether or not to bring you before Miss Kamisato, and whether you had the courage to face the lightning alongside us.
Don't think that Paimon's gonna forgive you just because you're getting all serious now.
Sorry, did I overdo it? My apologies.
Alors, est-ce qu'on a passé votre test? Ouais. On va d'abord demander
Let
ça
me
pour
just
passer
say
le test.
this. You've often found yourself skirting the rules from the very beginning, haven't you? Naturally, this is due to your unwavering and resolute determination. A long time ago, we had a friend who was much the same, but when the lightning struck...
Vous voulez dire l'ami de Kazuha?
Ah, so you've heard of his story. His light still burns all the more brightly.
Est-ce qu'on va pouvoir rencontrer la Shirasagi Himegimi?
Yes, of course. I will bring you to the Kamisato residence where the Yashiro Commission is located.
Ah.
But before that, there is one other place I was hoping you both would accompany me to.
Oh? Where?
I would like you to come with me to the statue of the omnipresent god. It's still under construction now, but you can already see it from practically anywhere on Narukami Island.
Ah. La fameuse statue que la Shogun Raiden fait construire et pour laquelle elle confisque les yeux divins. Ça doit être celle-là, je pense. Hein. La statue de la divinité omniprésente. Ah. Rendez-vous à la statue de la... Mais le chien! C'est le patron! Tarumaru. Waf. C'est le patron du salon de thé. Tu me comprends? Waf. Avez-vous déjà rencontré une personne qui sont comme moi? Waf. Eh ben... Ce chien! Il est magnifique, le chien. Quand même. Ah, ça doit être là. Bon, on n'a pas encore fait les quêtes journalières, comme vous pouvez le voir. On va peut-être faire celle qui est intéressante aujourd'hui après. Hein. Oui. Ah, merde. Fouk. Ah tiens, Kujo Kamaji, il est là, lui. Vous êtes... Ah, la voyageuse étrangère. Je croyais que vous étiez une messagère envoyée par mon frère aidé. Que puis-je faire pour vous? Ah... Propos de mademoiselle Shisato. Ah, c'est grâce à vous que nous avons enfin pu en changer ses lettres. Merci beaucoup. Je me demande si elle a aimé les collations que je lui ai préparées. J'aimerais la rencontrer en personne si j'en ai l'occasion. J'ai beaucoup à faire pour le bien de ma famille et de mon propre avenir.
People probably don't come here often, do they? Huh? Are Paimon's eyes playing tricks? Or are there things embedded in the statue?
Visions.
Ouais, les yeux divins.
Visions? You mean all the visions that are collected from the Vision Hunt degree are put into this statue?
So you've already heard of the Vision Hunt decree?
Ouais. Pourquoi la Shogun a-t-elle leur donné un décret de saisie?
Before I try to explain, I should perhaps remind you first that Mondstadt is the city of freedom, and Liyue is the city of contracts. As for Inazuma, it's known as the Nation of Eternity. the Raiden Shogun is both the nation's most powerful ruler and its deity. The eternity in question is her endless and unchanging will to rule over Inazuma. As such, she relies on the Tri-Commission to regulate the nation's affairs and the Sakoku Decree to limit the people's movement. The Shogun wishes to keep Inazuma in stasis, allowing the stream of time to flow from one end to the other without disturbing it for all time.
Seems like every god has their own will.
Of course, this is my own limited understanding. As for the reason behind the recent Vision Hunt decree, perhaps the Shogun believes that visions grant people the power to change, and that her eternity doesn't allow for such instability to exist. Whatever the case, the fact is that the Raiden Shogun has dispatched the Tenryou Commission to scour the nation for visions, embedding each one in this statue. And this statue of the omnipresent god can be seen as Inazuma's symbol of eternity.
But if that's the case, wouldn't you say that the Raiden Shogun is being, oh, I don't know, selfish?
Only outlanders such as yourselves would ever dare speak out so directly against the Raiden Shogun. And yet, I agree. The Vision Hunt decree is something that simply should not exist. And Miss Kamisato has been committed to fighting it since the day it was announced.
Huh? Hey, are you okay? You look like your mind is elsewhere.
C'était quoi ce son à l'instant?
Sound? What sound? I didn't hear anything. Did something happen?
On a entendu quelque chose de bizarre.
Yeah, you touched the statue, and then what?
On veut entendre le son des espoirs de ces gens.
Aspirations? That would seem to confirm the saying. Have you heard it before? That when a person's ambition reaches a certain strength, the gods look upon them with favor. That is where visions come from. In other words, a person's vision represents their ambition. So if what you just said is true, then the ambitions of these people are stronger than I imagined.
Ah. Alors un œil divin est un symbole d'ambition et non de pouvoir.
All right, time for the next stop on our tour of Narukami Island, the Kamisato residence.
Bon, une raison de plus pour confisquer les yeux divins pour la Shogun, j'imagine.
Finally!
Les aspirations de tous. Rendez-vous à la commission culturelle. Intéressant cette statue. C'est vrai que j'avais pas vraiment remarqué. Ouais, ce sont des... Les yeux divins sont incrustés dans des sortes d'yeux, hein, d'ailleurs. Bon, rendons-nous à El Famoso, commission culturelle. Allez, le domaine Kamisato. En suivant cette route, on devrait atteindre l'endroit recherché. La forêt des Tanuki. Tiens, il y en a un. Justement. Là-bas, il y a celle-là. On va l'éviter. Passer un peu par... à la nature. Mais on va donc atteindre un nouvel endroit. Yo, ça va? nous mène à un truc. Ah. Bon. On va sur le domaine Kamisato. On active le TP avant qu'une cinématique se lance. Représentante de la commission culturelle. Let's go. Ah tiens. Ça devrait aller. Léo, bonjour. Bonjour monsieur. Ouais, le type de la réputation. Bonjour, que faites-vous à la commission culturelle à propos de la commission culturelle, voilà, dis-moi tout. Commission culturelle, la commission économique et la commission administrative sont connues sous le nom de triple commission. La commission culturelle est différente des deux autres commissions. Elle est responsable des affaires culturelles à Inazuma, comme les offrandes au sanctuaire, les affaires cérémonielles, les publications de livres, etc. C'est pour cette raison que nous entendons les différents souhaits des habitants d'Inazuma. Mademoiselle Kamisato est une personne très gentille. Elle a persuadé le commissaire d'allouer des fonds et des ressources pour aider à réaliser les souhaits des gens. Comme ces requêtes couvrent tous les aspects de la vie à Inazuma, il arrive forcément des moments où nous manquons de bras quand elles sont nombreuses. D'ailleurs, ça vous intéresserait-il de nous aider? Nous serons rémunérés en conséquence, bien sûr. Quand vous aurez plus d'expérience et meilleure réputation, vous recevrez des missions plus importantes et mieux rémunérées. Oui, mais pas tout de suite. Évidemment, ce n'est pas pour tout de suite. Parlez-moi de vous. Ouais... Madarame Yakubei, un conseiller au service du commissaire Kamisato de la commission culturelle. Le commissaire est très occupé en ce moment. Vous pouvez donc vous adresser à moi si ce n'est pas quelque chose d'urgent. N'hésitez pas à demander de l'aide si vous avez besoin de quoi que ce soit. Vous êtes une invitée respectée du clan Kamisato et je ferai tout mon possible pour vous aider. Bon, évidemment, ce n'est point pour tout de suite. Prêtresse. Non, c'est juste que c'est de dos. Les ordres sont les ordres, ok. Bon. Entrons. On va pas souvent dans les bâtiments. Dernièrement.
This is the kind of place where the big shots of Inazuma live, huh? Paimon kinda expected it to be snazzier.
Ici de rivaliser avec le domaine de l'aurore. Ou avec la chambre de Jade. C'est vrai, on va prouver. La chambre de Jade, c'était quand même déjà pas mal.
Welcome at last to the Kamisato residence, honored guests. Miss Kamisato is delighted to finally meet you.
Is this the Shirasagi Himegimi you keep going on about? So, where's she at? Behind the screen?
Yes. As the daughter of the Yashiro Commission, this is how Miss Kamisato is accustomed to receiving guests. Consider it a time-honored tradition within the Yashiro Commission. Forgive me if this is an unwelcome surprise.
Je pense que je comprends.
Makes sense. She's a super important person after all.
Please forgive my lack of courtesy for receiving you in this fashion, especially following such a long and wearisome journey over the sea. I have awaited your arrival with great anticipation, and Toma assures me that you do indeed possess the power to change the tide of the times. At present in Inazuma, in the name of the Vision Hunt Decree, the people's aspirations are being senselessly trampled underfoot. Though the Yashiro Commission serves the Shogun, it is the people with whom we share close bonds, given the contact we are required to have with them in the performance of our duties. A commission's power rises and falls with the trust of their people. Thus, we cannot remain indifferent to this situation without also remaining indifferent to our own fate. Traveler, lend us your power, and we can...
Je suis ici pour rencontrer la Shogun Raiden.
Oh.
See, milady, it's just like I said. This will take us nowhere.
Oui, je vais partir à présent.
No, please, wait! Please, don't go!
Qui est-il?
I will introduce you to the Raiden Shogun on one condition. You must fulfill 3 small wishes on my behalf.
Hmm.
What are your wishes?
They pertain to 3 whose visions were taken from them. Perhaps once you've met them, you will understand.
Écoutez Kamisato Ayaka en l'histoire.
A warrior who guards a village, a former samurai who helped carry out the vision hunt decree, and a swordmaster determined to become the best in the world. Does Paimon got that right?
Le dernier, je crois que je lui ai déjà parlé.
Correct. Please do all you can to help them. I will await your return here.
Je respecterai votre volonté.
Then you have my gratitude.
I'm sure you'll do great.
La princesse derrière les rideaux. Très bien. Donc on l'a pas vu. Bon, c'est vrai que ce genre de pratique existe. On va aller voir. C'est toujours l'acte 1. Hein. Bon, après, on n'est pas obligé. Peut-être qu'on va juste faire ça aujourd'hui et on s'attaquera à l'acte 2 une autre fois. Donc allons au village de Konda. Donc l'utilité d'une attente inutile. Ah tiens, Kenjiro.
Let's see. Where's the person Ayaka told us about?
Why are you doing this? Why leave all of a sudden, after all these years?
Precisely. It's much too sudden. We've had no time to prepare. The children are desperate for you to take them out to play. Please, we urge you to reconsider.
That must be the guy Ayaka told us about. Let's go over and see.
Moi les informations aux habitants. Alors pourquoi ce changement?
If you want my opinion, something to do with the Vision Hunt decree. It's clear that Taijima had done nothing wrong, and still they confiscated his vision. After that, he became a completely different person. I can't claim to fully understand it, but I could tell that he'd lost something very important to him. He went off on a walk, alone, circled the village a few times, and then out of the blue, he announced that he was going to leave and become a wanderer. Truth be told, we aren't sure whether trying to keep him here is the right thing to do, but equally, it doesn't feel right to let him leave when he's in this state. He's a lost soul.
Seems like he's a well-respected guy around here.
Madame?
You must also be here to try and convince Taijima to stay.
Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
Taijima has protected this place ever since he arrived here 30 years ago. Keeping out the treasure hoarders, fending off any monsters that draw near, resolving quarrels between the villagers. He has put an enormous amount of work into looking after this place, and we all think the world of him. But now, all of a sudden, he says he plans to leave us. We can't help but wonder, was it something we did? We will gladly apologize if that's the case. All we want is for him to stay.
Allons lui parler.
You must be Taijima. So what's made you want to up and leave all of a sudden?
Me? It's not a question of why I want to leave, but a question of what reason I would have to stay.
Hmm. Ben, vous vivez depuis longtemps ici, non? Tout le monde compte sur vous.
True. But that's not why I chose to stay here. And what made me want to come here 30 years ago? And why have I never wanted to leave in all that time? I don't have answers to those questions because I can't remember anymore. Ever since they took my vision away, it's like a slice of my memory is gone.
Ah. Ouais, ben, il a arraché son ambition. Et cette ambition est liée à des souvenirs. C'est pour ça, certainement.
In the past, I knew I wanted to stay here. But whatever resolve I had then, it's gone now. So I thought, what's to stop me from moving around instead? The emptiness inside me will be there either way.
Okay. Well, in that case, if we help you rediscover the reason you chose to stay, you won't need to leave anymore, right? But if you can't remember anything, it's not gonna be easy. Oh, maybe if you just try a little harder to remember, then it'll all come flooding back.
Oh, that reminds me. Last time I brought Tejima some fruit, I do believe I saw him writing in a diary.
I keep a diary? If you say so. I honestly can't seem to remember.
Oh, yes, you do. And what's more, I remember you saying at the time that you wanted to make a note of a few interesting things. Things which would prove very important at a later date.
Perfect! So if we want to keep Tejima from leaving, we just need to find his diary. It must be around here somewhere. Let's take a look.
If you don't mind, we will leave you to find the diary. We should head back to the village to inform the others of Tejima's situation.
Ah. Intéressant. On peut pas rentrer ici, évidemment. Ah. C'est pas ça.
This looks like Tejima's diary, all right? Let's see what we have here. Today, the villagers and I got together to cook dry braised salted fish. I messed up and burned mine a little, so I had to pretend that it was black snakehead instead. Today, I helped rescue a kid who had fallen in the water. After I pulled him out, he told me that his best friend Bamboo was still in the water. I searched the water the whole afternoon before finding out that Bamboo was the name of his pet crab. I went kite flying today. The string broke, so I chased after it as fast as I could. I soon realized I was never going to get it back, so I just found somewhere to sit and watch as it flew away into the distance. Seems like your average diary of daily village life. Huh? Wait, there's more! I went to pray at the shrine again today and stayed there a while. The omamori you gave me has faded a little, but it is still my most treasured possession. Now that's the kind of info we're looking for. Time to pay a visit to the shrine.
Allons inspecter les alentours de l'hôtel. Il est là.
So this is the omamori Tejima wrote about. Interesting. Looking at the color and the design, Paimon would have thought it belonged to a child.
Ah, bah c'était peut-être il y a très très longtemps, Paimon.
But anyway, if he had this with him all the time, there's a chance some of his elemental energy remained on it. Do you think that it might come in handy?
Oh. Ah, on a trouvé quelque chose.
Here we are! This seems to be somewhere that Tejima visited a lot. The soil looks like it's been disturbed. Maybe Tejima buried something precious here. Something that kept him in the village all these years? Must be something pretty amazing if it made him stick around for 30 years. Let's dig it up and take a look. It looks like a letter. The paper's gone yellow. Must have been written a really long time ago. Konda Village. Sounds so familiar. Where is that place again?
Si nous sommes séparés dans cette guerre, attendez-moi au village de Konda, où il doit y avoir un foyer pour nous en paix. Le village de Konda, ce nom me dit quelque chose, mais c'est où déjà? Bah c'est ici, espèce d'andouille.
So the reason Tejima came here was to wait for someone. But he's been here for 30 years. Oh, guess they didn't show up in the end, huh? Well, let's go give Tejima his stuff back and take it from there.
L'utilité d'une attente inutile. Ah. Pas que je commence à comprendre. Pourquoi l'utilité d'une attente inutile? Ah, Tejima est là.
Well, I'll be. That's certainly my handwriting. And I guess the Omamorian letter belonged to me too. But I have no memory of anything that's written in this diary. Still, it's clear that I was waiting for someone here, and that I chose to wait for 30 years. Over the years, I must have made a note of anything interesting. Anything that I could share with her when we were finally reunited.
Elle?
And just look at all the things that did happen over the years. The time has flown by so quickly. 30 years feels like the blink of an eye. How could I have forgotten something so important to me? Now that I think about it, when my vision was taken from me, it felt like I'd suddenly been hollowed out. Love, regret, everything I felt for her, it's all disappeared.
La vous rend-il triste?
No, not especially. After all, I've forgotten who she was. Her face, her voice, the things we experienced together. I barely recall any of it. It's as if she'd never been in my life to begin with. As if all these years have been nothing but a hazy dream.
Alors vous prévoyez toujours de partir?
I think maybe not. If this is something I waited most of my life for, I suppose I should carry on waiting. Although, what if she were to turn up eventually, only to find I didn't remember so much as her name? Wouldn't that be upsetting for her? When I think about it like that, I do feel a slight tinge of sadness in my heart. How curious. Why am I thinking like this when I don't even remember who she is? It's just like that feeling of emptiness, the feeling that something is missing. Thank you both for helping me reconnect with my reason for staying here. I shall remain here and keep waiting for her.
Tejima seems to be dealing okay, but still, it makes Paimon really sad.
Elle a de la raison de se sentir triste, c'est peut-être la chose la plus triste au monde.
Seems it's just like Ayaka and Toma were saying. If you lose your vision, you lose all your hopes and dreams too. That certainly explains the state Teijima was in earlier. At least we were able to help him, weren't we? Well, let's go find the next person. According to Miss Kamisato, the second one who lost their vision is a samurai from the Tenryou Commission.
La prochaine personne doit donner saisi l'œil divin. Que les biens intentionnés soient bien traités. Ah. C'est juste là où il y a le fabricant de feux d'artifice.
They say the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law and order in Inazuma, the ones actually enforcing the Vision Hunt Decree. But why would they take action against one of their own? Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this month's emergency provisions?
The entire clan is counting on that food. We demand an explanation.
How many times do I have to say it? I don't know anything about emergency provisions.
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential. Do you understand? Not some goods to be pocketed by greedy samurai.
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this.
Des provisions d'urgence, comme par exemple de la nourriture.
Oh, huh? And who are you? One of Kurosawa's gang, no doubt.
Eh?
What? We just happened to be passing by. We heard the commotion and came to see what the matter was.
I see. You seem to have come just at the right time. Perhaps you can help us settle this matter. This is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions to the area, and he's the one responsible for distribution. In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. Now, he suddenly refuses to give us anything. He's keeping the provisions for himself, I just know it. We'll starve without them.
No one seems to care about us. We used to think Kurosawa was a kind man, but he's shown his true colors. He's the same as all the other samurai. It's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden Shogun doesn't need people like him helping her rule the nation.
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us to help. But why would she ever want us to help someone like him? Maybe we should talk to Kurosawa and see what he has to say.
Parlons-lui. C'est sûr qu'il a juste oublié, comme tous les autres, comme l'autre, hein. C'était important pour lui son truc de
I've even heard of these emergency provisions. I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. But either way, it's ridiculous. If I was hoarding supplies, would I still be the poor man I am today? My own family can barely get by as it is. No, if you'll excuse me, I've got other matters to attend to.
Mais après que vous aviez perdu votre œil divin récemment.
That's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision. And they said I was slacking off in my work. Apparently, I'd even disappointed the Raiden Shogun. And that's why they confiscated my vision.
Well, that's strange. You were helping enforce the Vision Hunt Decree. Why would you be unworthy of your vision?
To be perfectly honest, I don't seem to remember the details. All I know is that I would perform certain things every month. But I don't recall what they were. And it's not just that. I have this unsettling feeling, like someone owes me something.
Does it have to do with the missing emergency provisions?
I didn't take any. Like I said, if I was taking them for myself, I wouldn't be going through such hard times right now. To top it all off, my house was just raided by treasure hoarders, which is why I came here in the first place. I was chasing after them when I got held up by these two. If you don't believe me, go find the treasure hoarders yourself. If there were any emergency provisions to be had, they would have found them.
Huh. He seems to be telling the truth. But we better confirm. Let's go round up those treasure hoarders and see what they have to say. We should be able to follow their tracks. They couldn't have gone too far.
Ouais, exactement, let's go. Ah! Let's go! Hop, hop, hop. Intéressant. Bon, voyons voir. Est-ce que les pilleurs de trésors ont trouvé des choses ou pas? Ah, ce n'est pas un combat.
We really outdid ourselves this time. All those samurai houses packed with goods. We really hit the jackpot. I mean, besides that one house.
You haven't seen anything yet. There'll be a lot more where this came from. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic journey of pillage and plunder that will go down in hoarder history.
You demand, boss.
These seem like the treasure hoarders we're after. Let's teach them a lesson.
Il y a juste le renard qui se pose.
Another test subject.
Rip. C'était rapide.
There goes all the Mora. We worked hard to steal that, you know? Come on, boss. Think of something.
Not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders? We could use someone like you.
Ah, ça, je crois que c'est la première fois qu'on nous demande de les rejoindre, mais non. Dites-nous plutôt ce que vous savez sur Kurosawa.
Kurosawa? Oh, I remember. So he's the one who sent you after us, huh? Just our luck. I knew he shouldn't have hit that place.
So what did you see inside? Was it stuffed with food supplies?
Food supplies? You kidding? That place was a complete mess. All we found was a strange-looking box, hopefully with valuables inside. I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was planning on opening it myself once we got back. But now that you've caught us, how about we make a deal? That little box for our freedom. What do you say?
You've got a deal. Now show us what's in the box.
Huh?
Huh?
What the?
There's nothing in here but IOUs.
Yeah, a lot of them too. And they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general goods store, a Miss Aoi. We're talking tons of Mora here. We better talk to this Miss Aoi and get to the bottom of this. As for you guys, you're free to go. Just pray that our paths don't cross again.
Yes, of course.
So, we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs. Does that mean we broke even?
Non.
Shut it. Let's just get out of here.
Ouais, barrez-vous. Barrez-vous les imbéciles. Bon. L'épisode est bien avancé, le Kitsune. L'épisode est bien avancé. On va, je pense, terminer cette partie. Et on se relancera pour la suite. La prochaine fois, oui, donc c'est bien. On va d'abord terminer l'histoire de ce samouraï. Et on fera la dernière partie de l'histoire après. La troisième personne nous fera dans le prochain épisode. Donc, mademoiselle Aoi. Bon, là, on a déjà acheté des choses. Comment allez-vous?
Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. We've got everything you need. Can I help you find something? Or perhaps there's something you want to inquire about?
C'est à propos de ces reconnaissances de dette.
Ah, so you're friends of Kurosawa, I take it? Perhaps you're here to pay off his debts.
Whoa! Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're just here to learn where they all came from. How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much money? Did he buy anything super expensive here?
Let me think. Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large quantities of foodstuffs. He'd always put the payment on his own account. However, the price of provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his salary was no longer enough to cover the cost. So, he started writing out IOUs to cover whatever he couldn't afford of the usual amount.
So that's how he was getting those emergency provisions. But why did he have to purchase a usual amount? If the prices increased, couldn't he just buy less?
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have been carefully calculating how much they needed to sustain them each time. Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have enough, especially after such long and careful planning. So he deemed it necessary to take on the debt rather than let the people down.
Wow. Kurosawa was purchasing all the emergency provisions at his own expense. And no one ever appreciated what he did. They just complained and held him accountable.
People's attitudes will always reflect their circumstances. In the face of hardship, nobody cares to think twice. If you ask me, had Kurosawa told everyone the truth about the supplies from the start, then there wouldn't be such a severe backlash now. Of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. What he was doing was truly a thankless deed. As for why he chose to spend his own money on emergency provisions and never tell anyone, I'm still not too clear myself. If you're still curious, why don't you go ask him yourself?
Malheureusement, elle ne s'en souvient pas.
I see. That reminds me, it seems that his vision was recently confiscated. Most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name, he'll have no choice but to sell that sword that is so dear to him.
Sword? What sword?
Oh, didn't he tell you? He possesses a very valuable blade. He's carried it for years now. I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was a gift from his father, that it was too precious to sell. In hindsight, I regret that I never made an offer on it. Everything has its price, at least that's what I think. Why don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Perhaps it'll even provide you with the answers you're looking for. Oh, but before you go, if you would kindly settle today's bill.
But we didn't buy anything!
Information is also a kind of commodity, wouldn't you agree?
C'est vrai.
Don't worry, I won't charge much for information about Kurosawa. Nothing we ever discussed was explicitly confidential anyway. Oh, let me think. 2,000 mora should be a fair price.
Ouais, ça va, demi-mora.
At least we now know where the emergency provisions are coming from. Plus, we found out that Kurosawa has a priceless sword in his possession. Let's go talk to Kurosawa again and see if he can remember anything.
Ouais. Allons voir. Tac tac. Il est où ce... Il est là-bas. Allons voir Kurosawa. Un post-clé du dernier personnage. Donc il avait dit que c'était un maître épéiste. Je crois que c'est la maison là, hein, avec la fille devant. Je lui avais déjà parlé. Yo.
What are you doing here all by yourself? Where did those other two go?
I presented them with a choice. Either they left or I drew my sword. They left. It turned out to be a real time saver, actually. Perhaps I should start using it more often. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoarders? Everything I said was true, right?
Eh bien... Vous rencontrez votre rencontre avec les pires de trésors et vos
That
conversations avec
just
elle.
about sums it up. It turns out that you really were distributing emergency provisions, but they were all purchased at your own expense.
Strange. Is that really the kind of person I was? I don't really have any such recollection. Even after all you've told me, I still don't remember anything. Why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why would I put myself in such a difficult situation? I really don't understand. But I cannot deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense that my body was somehow reluctant to do so.
Alors, dérange si on jette un œil?
This sword was once wielded by my father. I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out with the blade and show it off to the kids next door. My father ended up catching me in the act and scolded me severely. What did he say? I can't seem to remember that either. It would seem that I forgot many important things when my vision was taken from me. So many memories gone. Forever. No matter how hard I try to remember. All I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore his life's creed. Before he passed away, he placed the sword in my hands and said to me, "With this sword, you should..."
Hey, if you look carefully, there seems to be some words engraved on the hilt. Can you recognize the words?
Ça dit vertu et justice.
Virtue and justice? Somehow those two words seem to explain everything now. Taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. I guess that must have been my greatest ambition after all. But what use are virtue and justice? I purchased the provisions for those in need, and look how things ended up. The Tenryo Commission seized my vision, and the very people I was so desperately trying to help refused to understand me. And the irony of all of it is, I somehow still felt sorry when threatening them with my blade. I'm incapable of being a good person, yet I'm equally unable to be bad. I don't know what to do with myself.
Yet another troubled soul. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurosawa's debt. The Yashiro Commission would surely help cover his expenses. In any case, we must never let him sell off that sword.
Perdre son œil divin.
Yeah, seems like losing all ambition is a terrible experience. Fortunately for us, you don't have a vision. Let's go find the next poor soul.
Et... Ouais, c'est bien là où je pensais. Bon. Donc c'est toujours l'acte 1. Hein. Et ouais, hein. Toujours l'acte 1. Attendez. Ah ouais, le plan d'évasion de Rito. 3 semaines, il était d'une attente inutile. En effet, c'est une quête plus longue que ce que j'aurais cru. Enfin bon. On va donc se laisser là pour aujourd'hui. Pour cet épisode-là. On se retrouve donc très bientôt pour la suite. En attendant, n'hésitez pas à laisser un pouce bleu, à vous abonner, à commenter cet épisode. Et on se retrouvera donc très bientôt pour la suite. Voilà. Ciao!